Ebusia yansa nsonda wasemu akwa babi mfambra KFM TV eso na mesaya kai na wahye ne so dia maye se abefontintan fidie no ye won framem to kwa ye Facebook a KFM TV GH ye twegu ho afen so Instagram KFM TV GH ye wo ho TikTok enne de keka ho nyina na dini ye ba ko KFM TV GH so to ayo ha na wa follow ye pages ahodo no e dia mayo like videos na YouTube no wetimi subscribe kama edi amaye na bibie etimi akonkan ama me ene wo san se Ghana ye di enti ena ye nyina yete ha enne enwume yen hyen sem na se enfama odi enche ye bia na his ex Dramani Mahama eti abedwekuo bia na no ye Constitutional Review Committee na chese nkrofo enwotwe bia wo bo omudin se ombeboa na chese Ghana amamra no omundo sodoso mu empense mu biaye ho atoche no o metimi akeka asie ni nyina no na chese Ghana ya memmo ene ya mamra ne betimi aye adwuma ai no ya afia hankono edi okonomi 1992 constitution no ye betimi edi dwuma na numu adehia wono mbo omudi na chese ye Justice Sophia Adinya afi so Professor Kwame Kakeri Maame Charlotte say enkane no ye dwemtene ndi ma abato komisan no na wono nso ewo mu bi Ibrahim Tanko Amidu afi so Dr. Esi Ansa Dr. Reina Kofokro no mo ye wo twe o mu nyina no wo mo ba beboa na dwemtene ni masa 8 member committee no na chese Prof Kwesi Prempe na enada no mkwa asetena kotena ase ni nyina no na chese bra wa bo mudian from no wo mo ba beboa ma Ghana ya mamra no wo metimi ayensiesie kama ewo ho enum no mo chese ya article 71 ai no ye MMDC sahodo mo man Ghana ha no wo mo ba behwe ama eba no musika seme wo se bosumi bi omoje ene ho aka de incentives sahodo wo so munya no wo mo tena se no metimi eduedue bibie mu aye bibia ma bibie timi akona enumu eno mo chese sene edi sa dibre amomo na afesu edi adwuma kese amomo yi wo mo ba betena se na adwuma bi a His Excellency John Dramani Mahama de ahye omo nsa no wo metimi aye ne sa pepepe sene se efata na sansem we nyina no ye dwomtene ni de ma 8 member Constitutional Review Committee no ye Professor Prempe Kwesi wono enejire mu de sansem we nyina etimi editu edwa
Ebusia for ye to ansem ne so edi ama odia endrada ana mrahebedwafo ekwa asetena ewo mrahebedwafie ne mra omkodu ye na yade a wo mo ekasa no eye ntawantawa bi esi wo hwane edede de because wo hone ho ana eye dom kuma no baako kan sembi ewo ho sa na ensem fata na ma speaker eye honorable Kingsford Sumana Backben enso eden sembi etu nenima endedwe eye speaker of parliament honorable Kingsford Alban Sumana Backben enso eyi na no yenti ensembi a wode etudwa.
Your minority leader spoke. I've given him enough time to speak, and he's still speaking. He knows how close he is to me. And he knows that I will not ignore the issue I took upon myself. I mentioned that I have invited the lady concerned. It's not that I will not invite him. It's a process. And he knows what has intervened up to now. If not by this, I would have finished doing that. So please, don't think we are all the same. We are not. That's why I'm here, and that's why you are seated there.
Efie dia na chese bedwem chiame hino munyam for Alban Kingsford Sumana Bagbene yade a ogusu aye kasa ne nsem no de atodwa ehim sene da ne da no Ghana fo bi no me chese ne nsem woni afenso nsem ahodo ba mrahye bedwefie a sene wogina baabi eka no omo ya aka akoyese ase wogina afanu baako bi na chese afana no wo nche ne de wabo ato egu baabi enum no chese ono de asembe ogina finfin sene ye sefata no wo beka ne sabe bia no kre ne da no so eho pepepe no de betu nsisa nsema nkofo ka se asemba o wa afanu ba akwa afa no wo chese nukwe bi enim ogina finfin ni nyina no oboa ama ye etimi ato ye ewo mrahye bedwefie honom enum no chese sa nsema nkofo keka no wo munyai kana wonjai eti ni nchemu ni nsema hodo de tudwa no KFM TV yento asoma.
Honorable members, some of you just are a few days old in Parliament. It doesn't matter. I'm looking at you. Repeat what you said. Please. If I were such a biased person, I couldn't have wanted to be a speaker in opposition. Please. I'm begging before you came into this house.
Ebusia for anointing same way and Speaker of Parliament Honorable Kingsford Albans to man a backbone what they two dra ewo mrashebedwa fe yeguswa ewo ne nsem ni mu dia wo February bosome da etoso enan ewo afimpinuni eduonu enum emu ana eye mrashebedwa fe ekwa asetene mra wo mo ekasa eye zinato wono ekasa ewo hosa no zinato we mrashebedwani edimade hye ya wo mo ewo klole eye klote abaton peswa so na emra sorry ya na wo kasa no ana MP ni ba ko sorry ya wo che sit down you daughter of a medra na sansema nipa no ekaye no eno enam so ama sesiade Speaker of Parliament Honorable Kingsford Alban wabekasa afasa asem no wo chemu se sesiade omo hwehwe sa mrashebedwani a wotimi eka sa asem no ewo mrashebedwa fi ho eno nti we kokobo ana unmunyamfo Kingsford Alban Sumana backbone wodi tudwa ewo mrashebedwa fi brada mra omukwa asetena no.
In the course of the parliamentary proceedings on 4th February this year, an honorable member of this House was subjected to an unwarranted, unjustified, and deeply offensive, reckless remark, or being referred to as, for want of a better way to convey the remark, quote, the daughter of a murderer. I apologize for having to even repeat it. The unsavory remark was uttered off microphone from the seat of the minority side of the House in reference to the honorable member. Media footage available indicates that during this attempt to speak, the unsavory remark was uttered off microphone from the seat of the minority side of the House in reference to the honorable member. Such conduct is dishonorable, and I strongly condemn it as a behavior unbefitting of a member of Parliament. Such a member, when found guilty of defamation or in contempt of Parliament or in breach of parliamentary privilege, would be liable to be reprimanded or by resolution suspended from the service of Parliament for a period not exceeding 9 months, or expelled from Parliament altogether. Let me be clear. Parliament is a place for constructive debate, guided by principles of mutual respect and integrity.
Ebusia wasansem ni muai na dom kesi omo mrashebedwe fi echemu se senye sansem no course a ekoma eye Maame Esi Rollins no ade se ntwe ye kura na ohwe senye mpanyifo te mrashebedwe fi ehwe ama ehontoto ye na afi o mining chichire ye betimi akonanim na nsem bi se itimi fi opanyi ba akwa no bade a womo chese nya ade se itimi twe ye kura no mo de omugiro mo nan so pemem de omo nsapem mo kokose ombehwe ama ye itimi atoye ma de oka sansem no mrashebedwe fi no wo metimi atwe na ba ma emra na etimi nnedi na afi nso asotwe esefata no etimi akwa masa nkrofo kwa na se nipa kwa efri na no ba ya wo de sansem we etimi etudwa omunchire mu no eni.
So, Speaker, we are indeed very grateful to you. And, Mr. Speaker, I will join you to urge colleagues to be decorous in the way that we conduct ourselves in the chamber. I believe that the investigation that you have launched will definitely unravel the individual who engaged in such reckless comment. And I also urge whoever it is to own up as directed by the Speaker. And I want to assure this House that when we ultimately establish the identity of that person, the full weight of this side of the House will stand firmly behind the Privileges Committee when they seek to exact the highest penalty.
For year 27 amamo na yede mu ekopie mu e won nsem fofo mu dia eye ende ana Minister for Foreign Affairs onmonyam for Sam Okujato Ablakwa edbetu bia wo chem se Ghana man penny His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ende de wa share eye ankane Ministry of Foreign Affairs wa show mu se eye si ansase ene noma bia eye ankane man penny a wetwemu konana adudan kwekufado ede show mu se inano se si ade wo se wo monfa sankrata no ene nsase ne sa no mani ni a wo monsan fambra ebiom esan se wo monmretwem eye aban yetwem no ana wo de sa no mane show mo nsa wo no John Dramani Mahama se si a waba no eye oral team no wo mo ayehwemu ye papa afọ mu ina eho asesi ade wo hye se sa no mani ni a wo monsan fa ni ni a embegu ne pono eso ansem we eye Minister for Foreign Affairs eye Sam Okujato Ablakwa wono ana ogina mampani John Dramani Mahama anemo editu edwa
Ebuta ye to ansem ne so etimi edi amamodi enche bia na Ghana mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama edi ne first State of the Nations address kotu dwa na enya asem keto akra on mahye fi na chese sene obeto o man no bobre gina ni afin so de ono ne ba beka ho ama man na timi afro gina simpie ni apaso na yeso ye ho ayeden eba no se ye puntu nwuma ni afin so ne ma hodo kopie mu aman foforo so ye bebo Ghana di no na chese okeka ni nyina egu nkrata so kunchire ni nyina no kekenkan ewo ye mrahye bedwefie no mu no de tu dwa chese sene MPP ameni okuo no omote so bra na Ghana mampani dada na nadoda nkwakufu adoda no enya ade si yesika sem eni afenso niema ne hyehye ahodo wo so mo yomutimi yeye omoye bibia say see one time troka na enumu ena sansem odi betu dwane nam soma mrahye bedwani ma de hya wo no mobo gatanga abato mpeso aso eyo onmunyafo Isaac Adongo no so edi anu yiaba a wo to di amane MPP ameni okuo ne chese senie na wo se wo kano no eye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama inchemu a odi betu dwa edifa yesika sem ene senie oman no ebu nkama faso ne senie achi akwa kudu ne sa pepepe eno bepie mu eka no ewo mrahye bedwefie wanfa bia nka ho wenyi bia mfim senie tie no sa pepepe no ka no na no nim kwan foforo bi nso betimi aka na senie oka no ne kwan so ano ni nchiremu no eni.
And you need to find 280 billion Ghana cedis from day one. Of course, you can only lament. You cannot be praising and be singing tunes. But Mr. Speaker, when you inherit an economy where every week, you have to borrow and pay a debt of 6.5 billion a week, certainly that is not the type of economy you expect the president to come and be clapping hands for. But Mr. Speaker, when you inherit an economy where ECG, after all the tariff increases where people buy even credit, and they get home and they are afraid to slot their card, because immediately you put the card in the credit rate, you want the president to come here and clap for you for that type of economy. And on top of that, you are still owing 68 billion Ghana cedis. Are you not scared that you left this type of economy for His Excellency? If His Excellency appears at a time when Cocoa Board is owing 3.25 billion, 32.5 billion, and already has commitments of about 21 billion, cumulatively 55 billion is what you left for him. This is not a tea-making party. And you want him to come here and be clapping for you. And when he tells the people of Ghana, this is the economy you have left, you said that is lamentation. Mr. Speaker, if you pass through ECG, there is debt. Cocoa board, debt. Government of Ghana, the treasury in the Ministry of Finance. In fact, I think Atufosi may have to convert that ministry into a...
Yedemo Eko Minister of State Edema Mampeni John Dramani Mahama ni kasama for Onmunyam for Felix Kwachi Ufosu na wode abetuja wochim se Mampeni John Dramani Mahama ni bosha wo she Ghana for se oba minister 60 pen obeyi omwoche se abosha na yade a wogusu a ejina so 60 ministers ne no a ana Mampeni John Dramani Mahama ebeyi ewo mai emwochim se abanya etwemu konmeche NPP abanya mra wo ba no presidential political appointees be say 337 ana wo mu eyiya ndedwe Mampeni John Dramani Mahama ni die mpono 60 per ana edun semwe Felix Kwachi Ofosu wono ana wodi tudwa yentie nisem no ebi.
Mr. Speaker, but I was coming to what President Mama intends to do to make savings that can be channeled into other areas of expenditure. Mr. Speaker, President Mama made it clear during the campaign, and indeed, Ghanaians had urged upon the political class the need to reduce the size of government. So, President Mama stated boldly that in the event that he was elected, he will work with 60 ministers. This compelled our colleagues on the other side to immediately promise to work with 50 ministers. Mr. Speaker, these are the same people who defended to the hilt the appointment of 125 ministers. Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to note that the worst economic outcomes that this country has seen emanated from their performance between 2017 and 2020. After that point, all they did was to try to patch up for the wrongs of 2020. That terrible was brought about by the biggest government in our history of 125 ministers. That means that you don't need a legion of ministers to be able to manage the country properly. Now, Mr. Speaker, I use myself as an example of the savings that are going to be made by having a reduced government. My colleague on the other side, and my friend, Honorable Afia Nkrumah, who, by the way, is my constituent also, used to head a ministry called the Ministry of Information. Mr. Speaker, that ministry had 76 people working there to manage government information. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you, it is myself, a deputy, and 5 other people who now manage government information. Mr. Speaker, if you move from 125 ministers to 60 ministers, Mr. Speaker, that means that you are going to buy 16 less Land Cruisers. You are going to buy 16 less saloon cars. You will need to provide 16 less bungalows. You will need to provide 16 less sets of political aides, executive assistants, and what have you. Now, Mr. Speaker, President Mama has not limited himself to just reducing the numbers of ministers. In any event, as I speak to you, there are only 56 ministers. And in fact, there are 42 ministers running Ghana as we speak because deputy ministers have not been approved. 4 nominees have not been made to make up for the 60. But if you come to the presidential staff, Mr. Speaker, if you take out the civil servants under the office of the president under the Akufo-Addo administration, there were 337 political appointees under President Akufo-Addo. As I speak to you, Mr. Speaker, there are 26 presidential staffers, people that you can classify as presidential staffers, and then 4 directors. As I speak to you, if you put together the total number of people who work at the presidency where I operate from, they will not amount to 60, Mr. Speaker. Yet they had 337 political appointees.
Ebusia nsiwe kasama for Edema His Excellency John Dramani Mahama
selling water at and making their monies. I pray and I hope that this should not be seen as truth. If my investigations reveal the slightest truth about anybody who can sit down and plunge the entire company into this crisis, and only open a plant to be making money, it will not be good. That will definitely not be good.
jama ha na mo ekoya adwuma wo na sabi omuso ya kadua omudi bi abafie aba me wa so party na ni nyina so jama ha so party ni nyina se no ama ya dida so se aban no so akai je be ma party no so atumi ahia akọ adwuma funa no a anya wa ya ku ifo no edru se mfaso de bi baso a ozo wa anya bi nti ade na ifo no de mi ato ano enya me nko mu di jama nyina mfaso de no ba jama nti o sha mfaso de no de bebre pa
Ewusi abroad na no December wieye na onyanfo Afo Stephen ono na ejom tineni de Majaman South abato mpeswa so de the National Democratic Congress NDC ameni okunu na chese ba ne se yemboaboa edoma no aye mmebunu na wono netimi da no so de nsem bi etudwa ode ko ediama His Excellency John Dramani Mahama
NDC Youth for Development Jaman South yada His Excellency Papa John Dramani Mahama say on the 10th of January modia de arisre eto nanu say omomodia na appointment ya oyi German South so onhwe na adehye wo ha ba ko na miinu bi entimi emrem se de be beboa ama ya strengthen party no na nyame adom yisufre mampan John Dramani Mahama ene ye party mpan for you Rashid Nketia you Fifi Kote ene ye regional chairman mpan for ni nyano omodi usi ayo ye ama His Excellency appointed a former MP, Honorable William Sokofodate, Amasisia, Ona Yaya Siu, a Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, Ayadia Esombuyi Pa, na German South in the title, NDC Youth for Development German South, the Befa Ponyaso, Nayadam Ponyasi.
Adeshimamba yeto ansem ne so ede amamode edimu kopiemu ewo kaswa ene ne importem amanebo a efri ho ba ne se eye abrante bia ye frɛ ne se eye Kisley eye nyehi guni a wonya mfinsha eduanan ba ko mu chem se abrante yi ayira efifi a wo mo ahwehwɛ na efiti eye na wotwetwe wu na abrante efrifi a mu chese wo mu hu ne efiti samre ne beto samre wo mu ehun wo mu chese da wo mu di hu no bia ya wo mu di hu no na wonam eye Fosuah Oduahoma ene fete Akoti Junction eho saa biaye ana wo mu hu na fiti samen na wo mu hu nde eye Kingsley wo mani entwa ne subie ma sesi ade adofo ene ebusua eton sa afro bibia se wani twa Kingsley eso e wo bebia obetimi afre sa ahomatwufo 0501106185 ana obetimi so afre 0554790815 na wafre na wo de eye Kingsley kwan no na wo de amebusuafo na ade a wo mbeda wase yie papa pensama ne bowe efi Kingsley ebusuafo akache ana eba adeshimamba ye gina sansem we so na etwa ye ho sima abaye ba ye de dwade nsem ebeto aso ama
Mo akwa babin fambra KFM TV so abefonten time fi de YouTube KFM TV chafin so Facebook KFM TV ye twegu live ho otoaye ho ha na chese weja comment ahodo no egu ho etimi edia my bresemu no adaje be my betimi akenkan na etimi edi na mampani dada His Excellency Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo pal jumedie bi ho ntuma na chese Bank of Ghana wo mo new headquarters no enokopa ho ntuma enya asem keto akra na chese eye adwumayefo mo wo man Ghana wo ye adwuma every fire sikasem ne ho hyehye no se be wo ho beto mo na wo so ahenhan wo amometimi abo adwuma ye no na chese hu behia so betrete wo mo kwaban menumu eno de saa gina yesi ho a otimi de saa inauguration ne hyehye so ananya asem keto akra na enumu ebede adwa na chese sika na efa saa building hu nkofo bebre na ne kan wasem sanse na esika twitwiri dia obodi nkra na yemasho na enumu na nkofo bebre na eche mu se Sabre no monyan for Dr. Addison no na eye fotosan for the Maame Esi kasem ne ho hyehyɛ o man Ghana ha omode to be dwa krase nkebe ya yeyi ni frade so san say sika pudo pa na akwa mu nim die ntia wo sika kesiese ekɔhye dan ba akopemu na enu mu na mo governor onmonyan for esiama so de abeto dwa eche mu say de ekɔso ne hyehyɛ ya hodo mu ye nyina no na che say wa breaking it down ye ba ne say dan ni sia nkofo bebre na ka say sika pudo na erema wo che say 11 million US dollars ene ye sika wo mu de ye bibia enumu no aba montina ba be cheche mu de ekomu okeka bo ani a utiti bi frima de ekosi ye nti a e ma asasi kapudo se itimi epiem ni nchiremu ene nsema hodo kopiemu e wo mrahye bedwe fie mpanyifo ani modi tudwa no KFM TV yeto aso.
Was initially valued by the PPA at 81.8 million US dollars, but later increased to $121.1 million after the Bank of Ghana requested for re-evaluation. This was revised again to $222.8 million, and I'm just running off, Mr. Speaker, after the redesign and inclusion of building management systems. Mr. Speaker, there were also statutory requirements, security needs, and sustainability considerations. As a result, the total project cost increased to $261.8 million. Mr. Speaker, as of February this year, a total of $230 million approximately has been paid towards the project, with an outstanding balance of $31.8 million to be paid to the contractor. Mr. Speaker, a total of $48.3 million has been paid in taxes and levies that were related to the construction. Mr. Speaker, beyond the core building, separate contracts were awarded for other infrastructure. These include ICT systems and network infrastructure, which was awarded at a cost of $8.6 million, integrated electronic security systems, which was also awarded at a cost of $15.8 million, and furniture and furnishings that was also awarded at $11.1 million US dollars. Mr. Speaker, these elements were included to ensure that the bank operates in a secure and technologically advanced environment in line with the needs of a modern central bank. Mr. Speaker, while the new headquarters project has understandably drawn public attention, Mr. Speaker, it is important to emphasize that the Bank of Ghana remains fully focused on its
Adeshimamba Yeguswa ewo edwadie ensem no emu abeto dwase eye Minister for Energy and Green Transition eye Onmonyam for John eye Abdullahi Jinapo and there woni eye operators of Bridge Power Company Limited woni omo akwa setna na ni ane se eye sa Bridge Power Company Limited for womoni ECG4 ene edin kita hunde womo so eboa ma Ghana yenya nkania ewo mam na akoba ne se eye electricity Company of Ghana according to Ankrofo we kaye $47 million US dollars a womuntu a sa ekane farm mo eno na enam so ma sa Ankrofo eye se wo mo ebe shut down womo eye enjuma enhu na no enenam so masesia de eye Minister of Energy eye Onmonyamfo John Abdullahi Jinapo ene womo akwa asetan wo chese womo nka makoma nto omoyem na yade a aban eden hyehepa egu kwan mu se eye ECG fo womo sikasem akofom no obehye mu kena se ne be ya se eka buburo ya womo duomo womo betimi etua ne nia ede amom se ne be ya sankita ngode ene nkaboma ewo mo ntem no ebetimi atena hoda ne da ede ama wo bibia ade
Engineer Semi so na yento nkrate ye ba ye den nsem no ekọ ahosepemu. Ebusiensa nsonda wasema akwa babiem ye wiere nsem no we nigidie emudia Director of Diaspora Affairs Onmonyamfo Kofi Ochredakon de Magana Mampeni His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nene due wode ababetudwa ehse sene obenimbo somi no ye bosomi a ye dan odoedi de fa Ghana ya mamramu ya manie ya mamre niema hodo efa ne yeduane die mu ya asa niema hodo bebre na nke hu behie yewe no de to de amane ye nwumtofo mo man Ghana ha senkebe ya eba na nigide nseme ye nwumto adwuma na ohamu nchim be se edioso 70 die nka enye nwumto nko ye Ghana ye ndwuma ebeboa ma ya adwen asa koyechi sene abakosem no ne yeto ye nwumfa sene ye niema fe ne ya befo ababe se ni nyina no nka ye nsan kofa sanse san kofa ye nchi no ye mboa ma ye mbo wo ye mframemu na afisu TV ahodo so ma nkofo bebre na ehu dia ye nsoso ye wo se oman eni afi bebia ne ye free ye nchi eni die ya ba bedru sesei na enum no ra ochida akoche se wo hwe animu paaye se Ghana ye befa aboye bo se ne e de match bo sumi no esi ho e de amasada ne ye bedi ne sa pepe se ne se na e fata na sansem we nyina no de to dra bra na omo power ye heritage month no ho entoma e wo Labadi Beach Hotel no won cremantem mu ha no ho e no de se futu etimi e koma ye nwumtofo nyina omo wo enwumto adwuma nim se nkebe ya sene omoyo omonyomo fa eni afinso fra memse ne ebe bonyomo no emu ohamu nchemu edioso 70% de enkenye Ghana nyomo nkwane nyina no ye di promote Ghana first where Ghana eats Ghana drink Ghana dance Ghana bibia Ghana no ye mfa ye hunhim na bibia entimi nkonkan ti we ni nsema hodo a Onmonyamfo Kofi Ochredakon a no ye Director of Diaspora Affairs edema Office of the President wetimi ede ababeto eja
yeguswa nijedie ensem no emudia eye watchna match bosumene da etoso nsia ewa afimpinu ni eduonu enum na Ghana ye independence ne ye de be hyehye so ewa Jubilee House ende ebeye kese yi papa ewa my Ghana no ana Ghana nyumtuni awaje edin ewa my Ghana ha yi papa TikTok enso ede abetudwa wochim se eye independence day no eba na wie ye watchna na chese sai wo match bosumene da etoso nwotwe no eye 8 March 2025 na yade a wo bekwa kopie mu ewa Nigeria mine ma wode ni concert kese pa ekwo hyehye so awatu ni din se eye after party independence after party ewo Nigeria man ma watch sen eye lodge 38 eho ana saadwumedie kese we ebekọ so hande Ghanaian artist bebre na ebekọ kopie mu ewo ase o chese Nero X bekọ bi sa enso so ana Samuel G eye firstborn any artist dodo na wo ka ho a wo ewo man Ghana ha na mbebo dompem ekopie mu ewo Nigeria man ma watch sen saadwumedie eyade a ebeye ni desem ebesan ayekese ye papa ewo Nigeria manini ane se wo Ghana eye independence na ne Ghana month no wo kobo ho deru ewo Nigeria man no emu ebusuafo ye gina sansem we so na ye di enwume news no ye di ninia aba na we ye na enwume nsem no ye di mo akotine ebi ene semampeni John Dramani Mahama ene eye constitutional review committee no woni wo mu hia wo mu kansem dodo na
sanso na eye Onmonyamfo Alban Kingsford Sumana Bagben a wono ye bedwem hyamehni bamra hyebedwafie no eye ade se watoto bi e de amane wono ma wo mu chese asemba wogina afa fa baako na emomo ngira afenu no sansem ne so nchemu no ye de somo kase ne so
Yeah, the more equal a jadi in same so a Bank of Ghana and so Edin Sembi ebetu dwenwumre ye domo esuko edimam.
Eni jidi ensem nso na ye TikTok kwa akopie mu we Nigeria man TikTok aha na chese ye Ghana Independence Day Party no de kwa akohihye so anya asem tiketo akwen de one enyuntofo ekuku dan bebre na na kwa akopom ntuma abo anu omkwa akobo adwuma mama so a eno eba bebo ama Ghana ye din so etimi akwa echi
Adeshimamba weni nsem eni afufuro pi a enyume ye bo anu ayede ebeso wo se KFM TV News asida eni kabia enko enfama eye talent microfinance se enyume wo mutimi boy ye chidoma ye di KFM TV News ebron se wo ya nkrankwe ejume kuo anase oton ade na ope bebi edu sika esie ma wo ha obi amba ho a talent microfinance nkwa na make for ede ama wo maso ye kese no wo sek wudu dance by hona ana eye talent microfinance wo mabron science no ewa wo motonsa ede afonsi hu ne so de ede afon boko ede ma
Afia so KFM Musical Center almost instrument papa hodin wom na ne border from ode ye adwuma ebeko yie na adwuma ne so ayem ready ama o ma adehyen so etimi ate udin atenwom na wo to ne yie ne de e den so kopie mu KFM omo Musical Center na instrument bia no o mbeti media ma mo so kopie mu Accra Zongole ne ho eno matena yekese no ewo
Dadaba Tech Hub and so SSL phones any ho akade bia say Infinix, Samsung, Tecno, iPhone, Itel, Yam, Nini abino would we need chemu e Dadaba Tech Hub ubenya sa phone si na ebi wo ho ma share no e wo eye kaneshi takwa station nchen ho na e ho ana Dadaba Tech Hub e ho a wo mo chese wo mo phones ne so de ebo ni da phone boko edma enu nti se phone asay na wo perfo de wo menfa weni enche bebia se Dadaba Tech Hub womo etonsa ade afro se bra na woni omo be ye dwuma na ya de a warranty eda so no esun ye papa ede ma dwumekuo we anenwume wo motimi boy chidom ma edi KFM TV News no ye de ebro asida kese enko enfama wa wutifia woje bre ehwe KFM TV News adada nyina wodi we fidie no eto ha ehwe ye da wase ye pa sa enso so ana ebeda eye production team ni ase se wo moso wo motimi boy e ma news yetimi ede brewo edin anwume meje so ene Maame Esi Nkrumah mini menuaba
Afia Fosuah Oduahoma Sresrebidi utimi so frame mefia da munyina ase ama munyina mo ene hwani tia wonje enyado yakra